Good morning, everybody who's young. I have a morsel of a thought for you today, number 180. It is June 30th, 2021, Wednesday. Today is a rules day, and it is obviously that today is. Oh, let me charge my phone before I lose battery here. The thing I want to talk about is the part where Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider say, "Do not live with a man and don't leave your things at his house." Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider make a whole philosophy for dating that holds true for every woman that is self-sufficient, independent, and happy and busy on her own. And it is, let me check and make sure this is charging so we don't get cut off. Hold on a second. Is it charging? Yes, it is. Okay, good. And in every part of the book, we talk about the rules as if we are not living with a man before marriage. Because before marriage, there is no commitment that you have a financial obligation to each other. So instead of the quoting people who have lived with each other and regretted it, like they usually do, excuse me, excuse me, I just had some salty soup, so I need water in a little bit. There is an attorney named Gerald Leonard Spence, Jerry Spence. He's from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. He has been a successful trial lawyer. He has never lost a trial by jury. He was born January 8th, 1929. He notably represented a case by for a woman named Karen Silkwood, who had been killed. She was a whistleblower at a federally regulated company, and she died under very suspicious circumstances in a car crash. He got a $10.5 million award for the family as a result of their a result of the Karen Silkwood being exposed to radioactive materials. Meryl Streep played in a movie about that story. It doesn't mention the title of the movie, but I could look it up and find it. And you could probably find it yourselves on IMDb, in Internet Movie Database at IMDb. He has never lost a civil case since 1969. So any trial that has been heard by a jury that he practiced in, he did not lose. Except for a mock trial where he defended Lee Harvey Oswald, and there was a mock trial where Lee Harvey Oswald was found guilty. It was an actual U.S. judge, an actual jury of U.S. citizens, and actual witnesses, but it was a mock trial held in 1986, long after the death of Lee Harvey Oswald. Jerry Spence has written a lot of books. He says, "I would rather have a mind opened by wonder than one closed by belief." And the old saw that sticks and stones can break my bones, but words still never harm me, does not in fact hold true. Okay? The reason I bring him up is that a lot of women are living with men, and men who are financially stable, and the women are financially dependent on them without being married. And the women don't realize that in fact they are homeless. They are not even in a position to date a man, not even in a position to date any man until she is self-sufficient. And Jerry Spence makes a case for the fact that there are many people in the world that are homeless in their own homes, under a roof, under a housed a situation because they don't realize that they are financially relying on other people, or that one single word in the wrong direction can split a relationship and they'd be out on the street. So he says there are lots of people who don't realize that they are homeless. And that is said in a book that he wrote called How to Argue and Win Every Time at Court, at Home, in Court, Everywhere, Every Day. And I read this book. It was a really, really, really good book. Don't don't do what I did with the book. I bought 2 copies and gave one each to a husband and a wife. That was wrong of me. That was wrong of me. Don't do that. Let's see. Jerry Spence, he says, the way people move is their autobiography in motion. Fear is like a pack of dogs. It chases us, and if we try to run and hide from the dogs, it will continue our chase until finally exhausted we fall and are devoured. That's what fear is. So, lots of, there's one more. 2 more. Skepticism, not cleanliness, is next to godliness. Skepticism is the father of freedom. It is like the pry that holds open the door for the truth to slip in. He wrote that in 7 Simple Steps to Personal Freedom, an Owner's Manual for Life. And then he also wrote in a book he titled Give Me Liberty, Freeing Ourselves in the 21st Century, children as persons are entitled to the greatest respect. Children are given to us as free-flying souls, but then we clip their wings, like we domesticate the wild mallard. Children should become the role models for us, their parents, for they are coated with the spirit from which they came, out of the ether, clean, innocent, brimming with the delight of life, aware of the beauty of the simplest thing, a snail, a bud. So, that's what I wanted to talk about today, because I know of an example of a woman whose daughter was living with a boyfriend, and she said one day, oh, we're not sure if we're going to go to Connecticut. We're planning on going to Hawaii. And this woman was beautiful, dressed very nicely, very stylishly. I was very, very slim. And financially, she was a dental assistant, so she was making enough to get by, but not enough to live where she was living with her boyfriend. And she was driving a car that belonged to her boyfriend. So she was completely financially reliant on him. And then her mother, that is the person I knew, this woman that lived with her boyfriend did not understand the concept of not having a home being something very close, that she was very close to the brink of it. And her mother was waiting for info on housing, several applications to housing. And the application results did arrive, 3 of them from 3 different counties, to her other daughter's place. And did her other daughter give her her mail? No. So the 30 days on each of those applications passed, and each of those housing units was lost. And this woman that I knew, who was a live-in assistant for a very old woman, went homeless as soon as that very old woman died. So this daughter, nothing else happened except for, I will say that the attitude of the daughter was a mistaken one. There was one time that the mother lost her key and came home and told me, oh my gosh, she lost her key, how did she get into her house? And we were trying to get in through her window and find a way, and I called the locksmith and all that stuff. And her daughter came. Her daughter came. And then her daughter had a look on her face and came over to me and said, I'm leaving now. I was so disgusted. If I had thought of it, I would have said, I have a mother. Will you take care of my mother for me? If no, then why do you want me to stay here for your mother, for you? Why are you leaving before you let me leave? And I was really, really disgusted by that. And then soon enough, the older woman passed away. The locksmith was able to get her in there without breaking any locks or anything. And this woman also was not on top of her daughter's actions and activities. Just like we said, our emotions are our autobiography in motion. That's what Jerry Spence says. And you would think that somebody like that would be very anxious to get her daughter to check on the mail every day for the 3 applications that she had put out. But this woman now lives in a shelter because of the attitude of her daughters and because of her own mistaken belief that other people would rescue her. She and her daughters have that belief. So I am very much afraid for that poor girl because she is probably just on the brink of being. There's not a rules relationship when you live with a man, because when he knows on some level that you are financially dependent on him, and he will not necessarily respect you. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, so that when you do the rules, you can remember it is always more important that when you meet Mr. Right is exactly the time to go and get your master's degree, because then you will be busy and happy. Alrighty, that's all I have for you today, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Today was divisible by 3, so we talked about the rules a little bit, and I wanted to get into the preparation for the rules. Jerry Spence was also a famous lawyer because he represented Imelda Marcos for racketeering in New York, First Lady Imelda Marcos of the Philippines, and he got an acquittal for her. So anyway, Jerry Spence, he's worth reading. How to Argue and Win Every Time, at home, in court, everywhere, every day. Alrighty, talk to you later. Bye-bye.